Right.
They're driving their business forward. They're making smart choices. They're here, whether it's easy or not, right? You know, I shouldn't say this, but I actually really love this market because all the fluff is gone.
Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for the StockPulse Network. We are at the Cambridge House Silver and Gold Summit. Jay Martin, who is the president of Cambridge House and has put on this great event, has been kind enough to join us. So Jay, thank you for everything you've done here. And how are you feeling about the success of the show this week?
Well, thanks for having me. We're feeling good. Yeah, it's the 4th year we've been here in San Francisco. You know, this show has its roots in Spokane, Washington as a silver conference. We moved it out here 4 years back and expanded it to gold and other precious metals and now the whole natural resource sector. You know, it hasn't been the easiest market to promote a conference like this in, as you know.
Yep.
So what we have on our side is some, you know, San Francisco, we have a really high quality company base. You know, more mid-tier producers attend this show, more large producers attend this show than a typical Cambridge House trade show, which is great. And that attracts in a different kind of attendee, right? San Fran being so accessible from anywhere on the planet, we get a larger percentage of our attendees from out of state or out of country. And the smaller scale of it allows for a lot more face time. And
right.
I definitely appreciate that. Our attendees, I know, appreciate that. The large events are fun and I love them, but the small events you can get up close and personal with Rob McEwen or Doug Casey or Marion Katusa, whoever you want to talk to, right? So
it's been nice really being able to, like you said, get FaceTime and actually interact with people. You do have a lot of great speakers you've invited here, and for folks who may not have made it this year but would be interested, can you give an idea of some of the things that have been discussed here at the show? Obviously a lot in the gold and silver market, but can let folks know a little bit more about what they get when they come here next year.
Sure, yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot about the gold and silver market, and we try to cover everything from grassroots exploration up to production. And when you get into, you know, some of the industries or metals you see here on the floor are battery tech focused, lots of lithium, cobalt. The story from the podium really becomes about the end use case, right? And so the narrative from the speakers is what's the future of electric engines, what's the future of electric vehicles and autonomous vehicles, and what does that technology future look like, because that's what's going to drive the demand. And then when you get into the projects, they're, you know, looking at cobalt, you're dealing with a lot of geopolitical risk or just political risk and just grade challenges, you know, so we try to be as comprehensive as possible so investors can get the whole picture. And at the same time, as you've seen, a lot of the panels are just our top-rated newsletter writers who are getting up and talking about what they're buying. Some people just like coming for the stock tips. And so you can get as granular as you want, or you can just come in, get a bunch of tickers, and then go back to trading.
Yeah, and it's nice that you cover a lot of different markets, especially you have a couple folks, Amir Adnani and others, digging into uranium, which is, again, it's interesting. I was on Wall Street for 11 years. Never really heard anyone mention anything about gold or silver as some of these less well publicized markets, which it seems is often a good formula for finding opportunity. Any thoughts on some of the uranium speakers you've seen here this week?
I mean, Amir is one of the more presentable CEOs you will ever see.
Yep.
If anybody can pitch, I mean, the guy's amazing. And he drives amazing businesses, right? His track record is fantastic. There's a reason why he is consistently the top pick among the majority of our keynote speakers as a CEO. Almost, you know, irrespective of the company he's working on. Uranium for us, it's funny because it hasn't really had a good market in the last 7 years. However, it's always one of the best attended features that we can host.
Right.
And when we record the content, the videos always have the highest number of views. It's this phenomenal contrarian story that people just don't want to give up on, right?
Right.
And honestly, some phenomenal CEOs are driving the uranium companies. You know, I'm a big believer in Sky Harbor, obviously in UEC, Denison, Jeff Klenda, who's been here, is a fantastic CEO. There's a really good cohort of uranium CEOs in this industry.
Right. And any particular areas as an investor, let's take aside from that you're running the show, but anything that you've been looking at and interested in or maybe learn more about this week?
The stories that I've been watching. So, you know, with these conferences, I try to attend all the content that I can.
Right.
We work really hard on the agenda, bring in a lot of keynote speakers. So not commodity specific, but a speaker that I was really looking forward to catching was Timothy Sykes.
Yes,
and
yes.
you know, he's a trader, he's a celebrity trader, not so much related to the junior mining sector, so we knew it was a risk bringing him in because his investment philosophy doesn't relate too well to the junior mining sector. But it was really nice bringing in his perspective, and then we put him in context, in conversation with Amir Adnani.
Yep.
I kind of expected some fireworks going back and forth because they couldn't be more opposite. But actually it was a great dynamic, and it was really beneficial for our audience to hear about a different investing perspective. It's important to bring variety, you know,
yes.
super important. So one of my favorite features, definitely Timothy Sykes squaring off with Amir Adnani this morning, and probably the loudest audience response at the conference was that feature as well. Tons of fun.
Yeah, Jay, you're right, because you know, you get too many gold and silver bugs sitting in a room and it sounds like a broken record, whereas it's nice we've had some guests on here that have been at the show this week where, you know, you can have differences of maybe what you think is going up or down, but just anytime you're exposed to different ways of approaching something. And I was actually reading about Timothy Sykes before he came here. It was just interesting to see someone with a really entrepreneurial mindset apply that to trading, and you know, rather than the way a lot of us gold and silver bugs have looked at something, that's the whole thing. You get to learn and see a different way to approach it, which sometimes can be a really good thing.
That's right. Yeah, and when you first see Timothy Sykes, it's easy to get distracted by the Lamborghinis and the yachts and the story, right? But he's very genuine once you get to know him, and once he gets to the podium, and he actually talks about his passion, which is teaching people about the stock market. But he's smart. He knows what sells, and so the thumbnails on his videos and the marketing material is always very flashy, but the content is very, very good.
Yeah, and like you point out, you do have a lot of genuine people here. I think it's an exciting time because we have been in a bear market, yet maybe these are the times where you see who's really committed to what they're doing, who's really passionate about what they're doing, and when that market turns, which hopefully will be sooner than later, yet it seems like you brought a lot of good folks together here that everyone's been learning from and appreciating their insight.
The best folks in the industry attend conferences at times like this. When everybody and their cab drivers buying junior mining stocks, you know, it's a colorful crowd, and it's a bigger show, but everybody on the floor today, everybody in a booth at this conference is productive regardless of how the market is complementing them.
Right.
They're driving their business forward, they're making smart choices, they're here whether it's easy or not, right? You know, I shouldn't say this, but I actually really, really love this market because all the fluff is gone, right?
Yes.
Everybody here is here with integrity, right? And I love that.
Yeah, so going forward and hopefully with good market times to come, what else, if you could just let us know what else you guys have planned and some of the other shows you do that people might want to look into.
Sure, so our two main focuses are junior mining and venture technology. We run the two biggest technology investment conferences in Canada. And so our next events are both in January. We have our flagship conference, the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. It's January 20th and 21st in our hometown, Vancouver. And then we follow that up a week later. We're in Toronto with the CanTech Investment Conference. That's in its 6th year now. It's become Canada's biggest tech conference. And you know, at that show, it's, you know, tech is growing. It's still, you know, noticeably smaller than the mining sector, but we'll have about 100 Canadian venture tech companies there. It's a really fun show to follow because it's so trend specific.
Right.
Last year was, you know, January 2018, it was like 40% blockchain companies and content, and people were really excited. We're seeing that show trend this year towards the esports sector. So it's fun for us to see what people are really curious about in the innovation space. Lots of health tech, lots of gaming, still, you know, lots of cannabis, and lots of energy. But that's what's next for us, January, Vancouver and Toronto.
And where can folks find out more about that? Perhaps purchase some tickets?
CambridgeHouse.com.
All right.
Yeah, ticket passes and all the content that we host here at the show, we record and distribute at CambridgeHouse.com.
Well, it's really been a great event. You can tell the people are here excited, they're learning, there is good information being presented. Appreciate you having us, letting us get our booth set up here. So folks, that's Jay Martin And thanks again for
Thank
joining
you
us.
so much.
It's been a pleasure,
I
sir.
appreciate it.
Yeah.